everyone, welcome to Watch It Paint It. This video we're going to be painting some models from Carthage. You may or may not have seen that unboxing. Not everyone loves unboxings, so you might not have watched it. So I'm just going to start off by spinning the models. There's 5 models in the game. That's the most exciting part for me. It means there's not much to paint. I'm going to have a fully painted game. Now, because there's only 5 and because they're quite small and because I've never done it before, what I thought I would do is sort of batch paint it. Now this isn't the best example of batch painting because they are 5 individual models, but I'm going to see what I can do and see what sort of process I would do, how fast I can do it, that sort of thing, a few hints and tips. I'm going to do all 5 models in one go. Let's see how I get on. Now, I don't know the names of them all. I've not played the game, but I think they're like either names of clans or individual characters, but I'm not going to butcher them, so I'll probably just refer to them by their colours. So this is the red guy, and what I'm going to do is start off by painting all of the pale flesh. So this is pale flesh by VALLEJE. Now I will point out I have not primed these models. These are really small and really detailed, and I didn't prime it for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm lazy and I use VALLEJE's game color, which is a primer paint, so it's all in one. It's supposed to stick straight to the model. And 2, I didn't actually want to lose any details when I primed it. Now, having painted these, I do recommend actually that you do a spray primer, just a very light coat if you can, because this paint, I did struggle to get the paint to stick to these models. It was multiple coats, being very careful with it. So I'm starting with the skin. That was pale flesh on 2 of the models, the red and the green. That's just randomly picked. Now the artwork is all in black and white, so I've got no real idea what these guys look like unless I've missed that. If I have missed that, someone let us know in the comments so everybody else can see that there is some magical artwork for this that you could copy along. So I'm just making this up off the top of my head. For the next colour, I've just chosen Earth. That's A Brown by VALLEJE, and I'm just going to be painting the yellow guy. So he's going to be this sort of light brown skin tone. Best way of describing it, I guess. I'm just picking them sort of at random. I just wanted to have a nice, diversity amongst my characters and just make them all look a little bit interesting, a bit unique. Now what I'm showing you is on the red guy, on the red dude, I have painted his sort of loinclothish skirt in the same earth colour, and the purple dude gets a brown axe handle, and then the blue man gets his staff for his spear. And it's not a spear, is it? Somebody let me know what weapon that is. But he's also got these leather straps across his chest and a belt round his waist. After that, I'm going to be moving on to the next skin cut tone. What I'm doing here is I'm painting inwards outwards, if that makes sense. I'm painting the skin, which is the sort of inner part of all the models. It's the hardest to reach. I'm doing that more or less first. Now, because I'm batch painting, I'm jumping around a little bit, but primarily I'm going for the skin. So I've moved on to the next one. This is Desert Yellow. I'm going to make him quite a yellowy, pale skin tone for this character. Make him look a bit, I thought it reminded me a bit of Xerxes, is that his name, out of 300? Just made me think a little bit of him, so I was going for that sort of skin tone. I've used this with Drago from Street Masters back when I first started the channel. I thought this colour can look really nice, different for a skin colour. So that's how he looks once he's painted a few coats. And then the purple man, he's going to get the fur around his neck, his loincloth, the straps on the backs of his greaves, and his shoes as well in yellow. The green guy's just going to get his belt, and he's got a couple of straps holding on his shoulder pad to somewhere. God knows where they go. So they go somewhere, but I've just did those in yellow as well. And then the yellow man, he's getting a few just details around that sort of skirt that he's wearing, just doing that in yellow. As I said, there's no artwork. I'm just making this up and trying to do a bit batch painting and spreading these colours around, speeding up the process. I'm going to use dark Fleshtone, which is a lovely Fleshtone. I really like this. As soon as I started applying, I was thinking, yeah, this is a nice one for a dark skin tone. It's dark Fleshtone, clues in the name, isn't it? So I'm going to paint the purple man in this dark skin tone, and that's going to complete my little diverse characters. I think I've got showing this. It's a good video, hopefully, to let you see what different skin tones you can achieve using different colours and how they're going to sort of look. So that's purple man complete, little axe warrior. He's probably my favourite. I think that's my favourite skin tone of these ones. I really dislike the pale flesh compared to Army Painter's Survivor skin. I feel like that's more of a natural skin colour. This is just so pale. I mean, clues in the name, isn't it? But that's the only skin colour, a light skin colour that I have. So I'm just showing you some straps that I painted in that dark flesh tone. It was the skirt of the blue blue man and the backs of the straps around this man's greaves. So I've done those as well. And then I'm going to use Gory Red and just paint in some details. So hopefully you're seeing the process so far with the batch painting. I'm doing all the colours across all 5 models and putting the bits in of the same colour at the same time. That's going to speed you up. You have to spend less time getting paint out. You have to spend less time cleaning your brushes between paints, that sort of thing. And you'd be surprised, it does start adding up. So here I'm showing you I've done his sort of robe, I don't know what you call that bit on the top of his helmet, that fancy feathery bit. This man's skirt's in yellow and he's got a strap on his arm. You can change these colours completely as you see fit, and I'm just sort of doing it kind of randomly. I'm just picking colours that I think might look quite nice together. So I'm using Sombre Grey for this one's fur, and he's got like some sort of strap around one of his arms. So I'm also doing that. And then once he's complete, I'm just showing you what he looks like. So I think that yellow and blue looks quite nice together. I think that ties in well. That's why I picked that. He's also got blue on his base, so it looks well with that. This one I've done the backs of his greaves in blue, so just mixing it up. It's Sombre Grey, so it's a bluey grey. I'm trying to make all of these look fairly realistic. This one, I can't even see what I did. What was that? Was it anything? Who knows? But bone white's next, and it's going to be the back of the blue soldiers' greaves again. They've all got these sorts of straps around the backs of the legs. So I'm just mixing that up with some different colours. Again, just choose whatever colours you want, and if you want to speed it up and you want to do it a bit batch painting like this, just pick a random part. I wouldn't do it quite random because there's certain bits you wouldn't want to be certain colours, but you know, choose a palette set. I think by the end of this I maybe used 10, 15, probably 15 to 20 different colours, but I spread that across all of the models. Maybe not even that, maybe it's about 10 colours. We'll have to see. Somebody let us know in the comments if you're paying super attention. Let us know how many different colours they used by the end. So cold grey is going to be up next. So another grey, very different to that Sombre Grey, which is a very, very blue grey. This is a very grey. It's quite a light grey. I'm going to be painting it, and this one's difficult to see because it's the same colour as the plastic of the model. But I painted on his skirt on this one and his shoes as well, so they both match. And then on the yellow man's, he's got his shoes as well, so they've both got grey shoes. I've also done his belt in grey. That was difficult to tell there, but that's what I did on that model. And then I'm going to move on to the metallics. So that was basically all the base coating done. I mean, the metallics is still going to be base coating, but now I'm going to apply an individual colour to each one of them. So I've sort of ended the batch painting at this point. So I'm going to be using Tinny Tin for the blue man's, and I'm going to just paint that on all of the sorts of metal. So he's got his greaves, he's got that one of his arms, his right arm's got some sort of armoured plating down it, he's got a shoulder pad as well, and then this, what's the weapon? I don't know what that is. It's like a scythe spear, but I'm painting some of that in Tinny Tin. And then with the purple fella, he's going to get bright bronze. So I happened with a VALLEJE set, there's like 5-ish nice metallics, and there's five characters, so I thought paint one in each. So yeah, this is for his helmet, his axe head, and his greaves. Polished gold is going to be for the red soldier. He's going to get all of his armor in this polished gold. He's got quite a lot of greaves, shoulder pads, arm pads, helmet, bit across his chest as well, I think. Yeah, just down one side. This color does not take very well, so most of this has been some additional coats off camera. You know, I'm putting it on quite thin and building it up because I didn't want to lose any of that detail I mentioned for why I didn't prime it. Also, another reason I forgot to mention I didn't prime it is because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the bases, so I was avoiding touching them entirely as best I could. There has been some very, very cool suggestions on the unboxing video for what to do with the bases. I think my favourite suggestion was by Anya. Apologies if I just butchered your name, but I thought this was a really cool idea. And that's making each base sort of themed and matching the colour and also based. So taking blue as water and trying to make that look like some sort of water, purple maybe as a swamp, red as lava, green it would be grass or sort of forest-like, and then at least yellow being sand. I thought that was a really, really cool idea. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to come back to these. As I mentioned, not touching these. I haven't primed it to avoid touching those bases, and I get next to no paint on those bases by the end. So these are completely stock by the end, and I think that's fine. I can tell exactly which character's witch this way, and it saved me painting it all. But I do love this terrain idea, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a second video where I just come back to these and maybe do those bases, each one being different, and it'd be quite nice to buy the paints to try and work out how to do that. So next I was using Chainmail Silver by VALLEJE, and that was to paint on all the sorts of blades now, so the end of that speary scythe thing, both of his swords, the green guy's sword and the yellow man's, he's also got a blade on his sword as well. So just using a silver just to make those look nice, and that was sort of back to batch painting, because again I just did all 5 very quickly together. Now for the shade, I ummed and ahed about this, and I really wanted to just try and get a game done quickly, and the easiest way to do that is just to use one shade. And I felt like sticking with the artwork, it's very sort of high contrast black and white artwork, so I've just gone for Survivor Shader, and you could use Null Oil by Citadel. It's just a black wash. I've just applied that to all 5 models, and it's done as quite a high contrast. That's that style, like 300 style, you know, the movie, and this artwork's a bit similar to that, and it's worked better on some models than others. So by all means, if you'd like to spend a little bit longer here, pick washes that's going to work better with those models and just make the colors go a bit better. The Survivor skin's fantastic on the metallics, and it's really, really good on that dark flesh tone. I really like how that's come out. It's a little bit weaker on these pale fleshed models, but you know, it's up to you. I've just gone for, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to try and batch paint these, just get them done really fast, have a fully painted game, at least tabletop quality, and it might even be higher than that by the end. It depends on your own opinion, doesn't it? Who am I to judge? I'm happy with how these models look at the end. We're then going to go into highlighting, and it's basically going to be following exactly the same steps as we did when we did the base coat. I'm going to start with the skin and just pick the first one. For the video, I'm just going to show you me highlighting up just this model, and I'm going to be applying the desert yellow to the other models as well, which I'll just show you afterwards, as I did with the base coat. So I've highlighted back up all those desert yellow areas of the purple mans, and I've also highlighted up the desert yellow straps. That was about all that was on the green dude. He's just got a couple of straps holding up his armor, and then the yellow man's got that skirt thing around him that I did in yellow and brass. No, he was hammered copper, wasn't it? It's hard to remember which metallics which. They're all a bit similar on the end, but they do come out looking different enough that it's interesting. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to show you the blue man's, just for highlighting him up entirely. So this is dark flesh tone. I will be applying that to the other models, but I'll just show you how I did it on that. That was sort of edge highlighting. The skirt's got enough detail that you can highlight up each panel of that leather that's sort of dangling down, and you get the edges, get the raised bits. It's going to make that look nice. Then I just did what I would normally do. If you've seen the videos before, it's exactly the same. I'm just doing the highlighting process on each part of his muscle. And then Sombre Grey's out, and I'm going to be going around all the raised bits of that fur around his neck, just catching it. You can see I'm just dabbing each tip of each point of that fur, just lightening that back up, making that look a little bit more realistic. And then I did each individual strap on the back of his greaves that are just holding the metal around the front. Then I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way because I was having issues with focusing. So sorry the background randomly changes, but that's what's going on here. I'm going to be using that Tinny Tin and just bringing that colour back onto his weaponry, his armour. He's also got a little clasp at the back of his straps holding that all together. So I just highlighted that up. Catching up the greaves. The detail is amazing, by the way, on this model. It's so small, but the greaves have got teeny tiny little raised parts, just like ornate. That's the word I'm looking for. It's all these models are really ornate, and I do have to admit, painting with a camera in front of me was a massive hindrance for this, and I think that's to some extent why I've painted this in this style, just with one wash and just a quick highlight on top, just because they're small. I need them a lot closer to my face to be able to paint them in the justice they really deserve. These are super detailed, but if you're not a super confident painter, your ability is a bit lacking perhaps, or maybe you're brand new to it, it's not too bad. I've got a camera between me and I could barely see. My eyes were exhausted doing this, and I think hopefully you're seeing that it's coming together, and I've done 5 models in one go and it's starting to look pretty, like, I'm happy with this. I'm just going around with Chainmail Silver and just lightening up the blade of his weapon, and I'm also just catching the very edges of his armor just to make them look a little bit more metallic. That Tinny Tin is very dark, and just adding a little bit of Chainmail silver to the very, very edges is going to make it look more metallic. Now here's something I've never shown before, and you'll have to let me know in the comments below if you'd like a full video on this. I mean, it's not much more to explain, but the channel could probably do with this video because maybe not many people watch Carthage. Who knows? You'll have to let me know. But here I'm using methylated spirits. Now I've taken a little Pringle lid, anything can do, but I wanted to be able to throw this away. Poured a little bit of methylated spirits into there. I'm using a value brush, one of my cheap ones. Link in the description below. They're by Quickdraw Supplies. Really love them. They're like 11 cents each. They're no money and they ship worldwide. So do check that out. If you need some cheap brushes, support the channel, support Quickdraw Supplies. Have a look at them. And then I'm just working this methylated spirit onto where it's basically where that Survivor Shader has just run down his leg and spilt onto what I wanted to keep a perfectly clean base for this man. So the reason I'm using a cheap brush is I don't know what the spirits might do to the bristles, but also just sort of ramming this end to clean it off, and I'm just rubbing, and it's taking that paint off. I'm just going to show you again, just so hopefully you can see how sort of easily and quickly it just takes it clean off. And I'm making sure I'm angling my brush perfectly down, so I'm not catching any on his leg and anything like that. I'm keeping it nice and low and just rubbing, so the bristles aren't going to take any of the paint job off. It's just really cleaning up the base. And I'll just show you the green fella as well, just cleaning him up, and you can see that's super quick. Now this is going to really thin the paint, so it's going to move it around. You're going to have to try and soak it off on some kitchen paper as well, but it's not going to damage the plastics at all. 2 hours, 16 minutes, 5 models. I think I'm pretty happy with that, right? Like I think there was only an hour of footage, so I did an extra hour off camera so you could get a feeling for how many extra coats I needed to do. But that's my own fault. I think spray primer is what I'd take home from that. Hopefully you like how they look, and you know, what's that, like half an hour a model, something like that. It without a doubt, batch painting definitely helped. It feels like it's not very much, it's negligible at the time, but it just adds up. You know, you're going back and forth through so many colours, it adds tens of seconds each time, if not minutes, swapping in and out of paints, that sort of thing. Let me know how you felt about the format of this video. 5-in-1, is that better or worse? Would you have rather seen these individually painted over a series of 5 videos, or is it nice to see 5 in one go? And hopefully you enjoyed seeing some batch painting and a game completely done. Let me know if you'd like to see a review of this game. I'm going to play it now. I've got it painted. May as well give this a test and let you know how it plays. But let me know if you're interested in that. Maybe you just want to see me move on and paint something new. Thank you all very much for watching.